I'm Deirdre Robinson, a partner with Murtha Kalina, a law firm in Boston, and I'm General Counsel for First Resource Development Company, and it's my honor to be here today to celebrate the completion of 3 projects: Concord Heights Apartments, Outing Park Apartments 1, and Outing Park Apartments 2. These buildings were built between 1914 and 1926. They included Georgian and classical revival style brick buildings, and they created exceptionally cohesive streetscapes within the residential neighborhood. The neighborhoods were intended to house the city's emerging middle-class population. While the neighborhood was initially known as Outing Park, by the late 1940s, it was being referred to as Hollywood. The reason for the change was not known, but in 1927, a furniture moving business named Hollywood Express Company opened on Saratoga Street. The area began to decline in the mid-20th century due to a general downturn in the city's economy. In 1983, the original development of 44 apartment buildings remained, but unfortunately, many of those buildings had fallen into disrepair and were taken down. Today, there are 23 buildings, and even though the number of buildings were reduced, it still remains the largest collection of apartment blocks built in the city of Springfield. On March 7th, 2012, this neighborhood was renamed the Outing Park Historic District and was approved by the Park Service in Washington, D.C. and the Massachusetts Historical Commission and placed on the National Register of Historic Places. At this time, I would like to introduce our first speaker, Gordon Pulsifer, President and CEO of First Resource Development Company. Gordon and his wife, Ann Allen, are co-founders of First Resource Management and First Resource Development Company, based in Hanover, Mass., specializing in the production of housing for individuals, families, and the elderly. They have participated in the preservation and production of almost 6,000 apartments. In the past, they have been recognized by the Home Program and presented with the National Housing Door Knocker Award from HUD in Washington, D.C., for producing and being a catalyst in transforming neighborhoods and improving lives for the elderly and families. Gordon is the past president of the Rental Housing Association in Massachusetts and past chairman of the Greater Boston Real Estate Board. He also serves on the board of Preservation Massachusetts and Caritas Communities, as well as CHAPA. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce Gordon Pulsifer.
Thank you, Deirdre, and thank you for providing some of the history for this neighborhood. History plays a very important role to our development company when redeveloping and redesigning a neighborhood, especially the one such as Outing Park with such a long history. I especially want to welcome our Governor, Charlie Baker, and our Mayor, Dominic Sano, as well, and our Executive Director of Mass Housing. Thank you all for coming out and speaking with us. You'll see that it's been quite a transformation of the before and after. And we've added a management office and community center, which is right behind us, behind you. And we've added a maintenance facility, laundry facilities. These facilities provide a visible management. Combined with our social service and support programs, we're able to better serve the residents of this neighborhood. I want to thank the residents of this neighborhood. I want to thank them for inviting us into their homes. I want to thank them for sharing their stories. I want to thank them for believing the development plan that I painted for them back in 2007, 2008 actually could come true, and having the patience to bear with me and the city as we work through this lengthy process. I want to start by thanking our boots on the ground. The First Resource team, headed up by Ann Allen Pulsifer, President of First Resource Management, and her senior staff, Kathy Weber, Gretchen Helger, Jose Reyes, and Gary Nelson, and all their staff. Thank you. At this time, I would like to introduce the mayor of our great city, Dominic Sarno.
Good morning, and this is just like the Masters. You have the green carpet here. Very good, Gordon. And I know when the Revolutionary War was the red coats, but the blue shirts are here. And I have one too. It says Mayor Sarno. And I'm honored to wear that with each and every one of you young men and young women that are here. I also want to thank, it's important, Governor Baker, who has really been a good friend to the city of Springfield and Commonwealth, Massachusetts, not only on big picture issues, but about neighborhoods. And the funding here, and in shortly being Chicopee for MassWorks funding, which helps neighborhoods. So Governor, we deeply appreciate it. Dino Facente didn't give me any Boston cream pie cupcakes, so I'll have to get them for you next time. I also want to thank the legislative delegation, Senator Welch and Senator Lesser. This is Senator Welch's area, for their funding aspects. Congressman Neal, from the federal funds that we get on the home level, and to all my colleagues and friends on the city council. This is Melvin Edwards, a district here, for working with us, because we have put our skin in the game, importantly. And I want to give a shout out to the South End Citizens Council, Leo Florian, who lives, works, and plays for all his life in the South End, for working with us. Very, very important, Leo. And of course to Team Springfield, planning department, all my department heads, Kevin Kennedy, the best nuts and bolts guy putting things together in the Commonwealth, bar none, hands off. I don't want anybody touching them on stage either. I appreciate their efforts. And when you look upon what occurred here, the key elements, first resource, Gordon Pulsifer and his team. Proven track record. We have done work with him before in the Worthington Street area. Night and day transformations have occurred. He's going to be doing some more work for us at the Indian Motorcycle Building, transforming that area. This was once called the Hollywood section. I had family members and friends who lived here. This was the honeymoon area. After World War II, before people could afford to buy a home, this was an exclusive area. There was a waiting list to get into the Hollywood section. And it was a great, great neighborhood, mainly Italian-American at the time. And now it has been the rebirth of creating another great neighborhood. But the key was you had all these buildings separately owned by different landlords. Who did the right thing? Who didn't do the right thing? We would hammer away with code enforcement, all the other legal aspects, and we would hit with our brave and dedicated police officers, and the key now, having the C3 policing under the command of Captain Cheryl Clapprood and Sergeant Beliveau and team, Commissioner Barberi's leadership, integrating, working together. So what we had to do, and I remember Gordon, we had to get control of all these properties under one umbrella, or one tent. So the 23 properties came under First Resources, Gordon's control. So you have continuity, uniformity across the board. Then the other important thing was obtaining the funding. Well over $72 million, the city put skin in the game, the state put a tremendous amount of skin in the game, federal government put a tremendous amount of skin in the game, and then being able to rehab 316 apartments, affordable housing. But not only that, giving the amenities to the residents of this area, putting in security cameras, which our police department hooks up with. And when you look at the crime stats, the public safety aspects of this area, it is all down now. And you know, I know it's coming from the mayor, maybe our police department, but talk to the residents here, the transformations that occurred. Then our city crew rolled up our sleeves, knocked down those derelict buildings, open up roadways, reconfigurations going to occur, shine the light on the good people here and clean out those negative individuals, which we did. This neighborhood, because of the efforts of Gordon Pulsifer, the city, federal and state officials, but mainly the residents, has turned around. And Outing Park is now restoring the luster of many, many years ago of why this was called the Hollywood section. And now I have the distinct pleasure and honor to introduce Governor Charlie Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Please. You know, this job of being governor is interesting. If something really bad happens that I had nothing to do with, it's on my watch. And if something really good happens that I had a limited something to do with, it's on my watch too. And I sort of feel like the person who shows up, you know, at the end of the big game when everybody wins and joins in the celebration and tries to take credit for it. The Commonwealth has been intimately involved in this project for a very long time. And it's a tribute to all of you that you had the perseverance and the determination and the grit to see your way through all the twists and turns that came with trying to redevelop an entire neighborhood. And as I listened to Gordon go through all the people he needed to thank, pretty long list there, bud.
Can't do it alone.
One of the conclusions you draw from that is how complicated it is to take a neighborhood and turn it into a unified force for good. And then to cobble together all the different state, local, and federal resources that are required to kickstart the financing, and then to go find the private financing that comes in and bridges what you've already put together previously. Again, it's a tribute to all of you. You stuck with it and saw it through to the end because you believed in the vision and in the opportunity. And I think the fact that, this is a little corny, I think the fact that we all drove here in the rain and literally as soon as we got here, the rain stopped, clouds parted, sun came out. It's a pretty decent metaphor. Pretty decent metaphor for what this project has been and what it's meant and what it will mean for the folks who live here and for the city of Springfield. And I remember thinking, it really is, brick by brick, building by building, street by street, over time, with perseverance, determination, imagination, and a belief in something more that gets you there. And a huge part of that is having a ringleader or a collection of ringleaders who are able to keep people focused on the end game to see it through. And this is the end game, folks, but it's also the start of a special and new opportunity for the city and for this neighborhood. And I'm pleased to be here today to celebrate that, to thank you all, and to congratulate you on what you have accomplished.
So I want to introduce our next speaker, the Executive Director of Mass Housing. And it bears mentioning, Tom Gleason, that, and I'm sure the mayor will join with me, and Kevin Kennedy in his office, that you've entrusted one of the most historic properties, maybe in the country, Indian Motorcycle, to be put in the hands of the city of Springfield to redevelop. And I'm happy to report to you we're about to unveil that plan. And we hope that you will be a part of our team and work with us on financing and issues that will be needed for that project. So, Tom Gleason.
Okay, nothing like putting me on the spot on that one, right, Gordon? Excellent job, I gotta say. So I speak at a lot of events. I'm lucky enough to do that as part of my job, and I speak before and after a lot of people, but coming after Gordon and after the mayor and after the governor, what can I possibly say? Because not only they've said it all, they've said it better than I possibly could. So I'm going to focus just on thanks as my remarks to you today. Governor, thank you for being here. Being here at this event says more than just your words. And I know you know this, but you've made housing a critical part of your administration, and we thank you for that. Mayor Sarno, we've gone at this a few times in the city of Springfield, and your commitment to housing for the people that need a decent place to live, for the working families of Springfield, has been just incredible. It has never faltered, and we thank you for that commitment.
Thank you.
Gordon, you did thank everybody. I wasn't going to say it was a long list, but my boss beat me to it, so I can say that was a long list. But you and Ellen need to be thanked for your commitment to the city. So you came to this city a long time ago, and I remember having a conversation with you when you went out there, and I said, Gordon, what are you doing? And he said, I need to go out there because nobody's there. There's work that needs to be done, and I think I can make a difference. Well, look around you. Sometimes the housing that we're all involved with reaches a critical mass, and you end up changing a neighborhood, and that's just what you did here. You have changed this neighborhood forever, we hope. You have certainly changed the lives of the people that live here. And for everybody who's here, there are a lot of pictures around the room. I really want to call your attention to one of the pictures on the big board with the kids at the bottom of one of those frames. So there is the usual alphabet list of housing programs that are in effect here in this development in Outing Park. We don't have to go over all the letters, because when you put them all together, those letters spell home. And it spells home for the kids that live here, because that's what this is all about, to give a leg up for the next generation of people who are going to grow up and be our leaders in this city and everywhere else. So having a place to live is critically important to them. All of your commitment makes it easy for us, and you've already thanked all the funders, but Kate is here, and Peter Sargent, and Dick Mason, and I get to speak on their behalf a little bit, and thank you for your commitment. Mayor, we've been with you through the years. We've done 5,500 units of rental housing here in the city of Springfield. We've helped 4,000 families buy their first home in this city. So this is just the next in a long line of commitments that we're going to make to you. So thank you all for allowing me to be part of your vision and your dream, and I can't wait to come back and do the next one in the city of Springfield.
Gordon Peltzifer is a phenomenal man. He transformed neighborhoods. Started on Worthington Street. And the neighborhoods that he has tackled, Governor, were some of the toughest, roughest neighborhoods in Western Massachusetts. And I didn't believe in him. You know, developers come, they do the tax credit thing, developers go. And he said, Bud, I want to take you on a tour. I want you to see what I've done on Worthington Street. And I know that the crime has gone down over there and people were very comfortable. And he takes you on this tour. And Governor, he's our Tom Brady. Everybody's quarterback. He's the quarterback here. Maybe 3 months ago you wouldn't want to be Tom Brady, but I think it's okay now. And I go on this tour. And let me say something. If you haven't been on the tour, take the tour. I went back and I told my wife, if you ever boot me out, I know I would live in what this man does. That's how the apartments are. They're first-class apartments. Real living. You know, some folks put stuff together, Governor, and it's kind of like, you know, piecemeal. You put it together, they get by the codes. This individual and his team gives individuals a first-class living arrangement. And I go and I said, you know what? we come to Hollywood. Now this, well, where's the governor? I'm gonna tell you. You know, you come into a neighborhood, you look at it like it is today. Governor, if you'd come in here maybe 8, 9 years ago, you'd have to have the battle gear on, state police escort. That's how dangerous this corner was. People wouldn't come in here. The police were afraid to come in here. That's how notorious it was. I mean, we're talking real life situations. And oh, by the way, he's up in Mason Square. We've been trying to get that Indian motorcycle second phase done for close to 20 years. Ray Jordan did the first phase with the state. 20 years we've been trying to get it done. And on the corner is the fire station. Jimmy, you'll appreciate this. He's gonna do that too. And Carlos, I said, Gordon, we got other areas in the city that we need your help. But really, man of his word, a developer that's a man of his word has transformed this city. And really, I'm very serious. If you go into one of these apartments, just like at home, that's what he's done. He's invested. So thank you, Gordon Pestifer, your wife, what you have done. You really, thank you.
Everybody on 3, look up, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you.
So, you're playing a different game than I am. I don't tell my daughter and my son to pay attention. I tell them to go to
Tom, I'm sorry. Can I just do this with? Never mind. Looking right here, everybody. Thank you. Could I just do Gordon's family with one quick one? Thank you. Looking right here, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
He's got to explain. He's got to explain where he's been.
Give this to this morning's teacher. Timestamp this photo, whatever you do.
Thank you.